It kind of goes way, way back to when I was a small child, with the sewing especially. My Nana and my grandmother were both sewers, as well as my mother. And my Nana, who is my dad's mother, made me my first sock monkey when I was really little. And that kind of got me started with the entire plush venture that I went on. I did design and make my own sock monkeys as a child, and then when I got into my older years, I kind of revisited that. And then as I was creating these sock monkey based animals in my adult years, I wanted to do something that was a little bit more unique, more my own, that wasn't based off of a pattern like a sock monkey is. So that's when I started making the plush animals that I do now. A lot of trial and error. Some of them were completely ridiculous when I came up with patterns that didn't work. So eventually, I started to really understand how to make patterns work. The mounts were kind of the last addition, the last step. For Christmas one year, I made really small little tiny mounts that just in embroidery hoops that I gave out to friends for Christmas gifts. And then that kind of jump-started me thinking, why don't I do these bigger and kind of unite the idea of the plush animal with what you consider to be more of an art piece that you might hang on the wall. So the mounts are one of my favorite things to create now, and I continue to try to come up with, different animals, hybrids and things like that when I create them. The piece behind me is a combination piece. So this is sort of the last step. So the goat himself is made with paper. I pretty much start with a drawing, and then I do use usually a photo as a reference, and I use a lot of tracing paper because as I draw and draw and draw, I simplify everything into the different shapes, knowing that I'm just going to be using maybe like 3 or 4 different colors. And then what I started to do with these pieces was incorporate this felted applique work. So it's kind of the same process as my paper cutting, except it's made with felt and it's sewn and it's stitched. For these patterns, I really rely heavily on a lot of Art Nouveau patterning. I love the look of that, and I love how it's so ornate, and you can kind of do anything that you want with that patterning. I also really like the sense of the symmetrical idea for those pieces. These two are more or less a set, where the mount is kind of meant to be of the same goat. They don't have to be bought together, and they can stand alone, but they go together. I love fabric. Buy tons and tons of fabric. For these pieces as well, oftentimes the fabric will dictate my color choices that I might use, which sometimes I have a hard time figuring out what colors, or there's certain colors I like, and I don't always want to use those same colors for every single piece. With all of the animal mounts and the actual physical animals that I create, they're all my own patterns. What I love about my work is that it has this ability to touch all ages, whether it's children, through adults, through men, through women. I love when people come into the studio and they almost, snicker, not in a negative way or anything like that, but just seeing this work brings a smile to their face. And I love hearing, I do have some people that come to Millworks and they've told me that they've started to become a collector of my work, and they like to put my mounts together in different spaces and those types of things. I also hope that they are more universal. So some people will come in and they'll say, oh, I think that would be great for a child's room. Well, it's not necessarily meant to be just for like a nursery or a child's room. I would love for it to go anywhere. Just to make people smile, make people maybe laugh, have it be a centerpiece where it starts some conversation. I think it's just taking a lot of things that I loved to do as a child and merging that into what I do now and finding a way to bring that all together.
For more from Mosaic, please like and subscribe to the channel or check out another video. To help support this project, please visit witf.org/mosaic.